Hi everyone! So today I thought I would try something different, and I'm going to be using some cardboard or chipboard just from leftover packaging. This one here happens to be from some crackers, and I like it because it's not too thick, but it's not overly thin like paper. So I thought it would be nice to add on some cards with these delicate dies, and they are a lot easier, I think, to work with just because they're a little bit thicker and you don't have to be so careful pulling them out after you cut them. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this set of 3 twice, and I'm going to show you guys 2 different ways that you can kind of dress them up. So here I'm going to use some Inca Gold, and this one is in ice blue, and it doesn't really look blue, it's more of a silver. It kind of has a hint of blue, but not overly. So I went ahead and punched out all those little bits in the holes. You just have to push them out a little bit, but that was no problem. I love that these dies give it, with the chipboard, it gives it a little bit more dimension without having to use some foam tape or anything like that. And you can get the same effect using layering up papers, but this is just so much easier and you're recycling, so that's great. I do recommend you don't use too thick of chipboard. I know some of the packaging can be really thick and some is more thin, so you might have to play with it and figure out which kind you like. But here it is, and I just love this effect, and it's, like I said, they're so easy to work with. You can use a lot more mediums with them, just because they are chipboard, and with paper, you know, you would have to worry about tearing those little pieces and stuff like that, and I really liked that I didn't have to worry about that. And this would be super easy if you could die cut a bunch of these and made a bunch of Christmas cards at once. So there's those with the Inca Gold. And now these ones I sprayed with some Lindy's, and they're not dry yet. I'm going to show you in a second what they looked like dry. So there they are, and this is just kind of a warning. If you spray them and they look a little dark and not so pretty, they will lighten up. I used these 2 Lindy's, and I used Down the Rabbit Hole, and this one I use more for the shimmer because this one's a flat Fabio. This one is Merci Beaucoup Mint. Sorry, I had trouble remembering. So here they are dried, and you can see they lightened up a lot, and you can really see that shimmer. I also went ahead and embossed that one, the larger one, with the Swiss Dots embossing folder. And it did go away a little bit just because they got wet, but I really like the effect. It looks cool. I don't end up using these, but you can use these the same. You can use embossing paste. You can use all sorts of stuff. So there in the top, I went ahead and embossed my background piece, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to use this stamp set, the Happy Holidays from the So Happy set, and I'm going to use Simon Says Stamp Smoke, just because it's a really nice light gray, and it's not going to take anything away from the card. So I'm just inking this up, and this piece that I'm stamping on is actually the leftover bit from when I cut the top piece to layer down. So that's kind of a tip. You don't have to recut it the width-wise. So I just stamp it up close to that line, and then I'm going to grab my cutter here and trim off the bottom just so that I have a nice thin strip. And I did this because I didn't want to emboss over the wording. I didn't want to make it hard to read. So here I'm just going to go ahead and trim so that it's nice and close to the bottom and even with the top. And then now I'm going to play with this. This is that piece that I embossed, also with the Swiss Dots. And I'm going to kind of play with my layout here and just make sure I'm liking it. So I do use the Scotch Quick Dry, just because it does dry quick, and it's easy and quick to put it on. So I'm just going to add this glue on here. And you don't have to add a lot. I just kind of get it to come out and smear it all around the whole die cut so that it has some glue, but you don't really have to overdo it, and you don't want to because it'll ooze out the sides. So you can see that there. I'm just kind of getting some on there and smearing it all around, and it'll stick great. I did this card a while ago, and everything is perfect and flat, and I love it. It's so much easier than messing with other stuff. You could also run it through like a Xyron sticker machine if you have one. I do have one, but this is just so much easier, and I use that more for my little pieces. So here I'm just going to go ahead and push this down, and then I do end up taking my glass block, which is a trick I do a lot. If I have a piece that I worry about sticking down, I'll kind of lay that down and it'll weigh it down a little bit. So here I'm just making sure I like the placement of these, and I'm going to just add some more glue to this one here, which is more the medium one, I believe. And I'm just going to add the adhesive the same way. And I really love this card. Like I said before, I think you could mass produce a whole bunch of these, and these would be great Christmas cards because you could cut all your snowflakes, and you could ink gold them or color them or add embossing paste or sprays, whatever. You could even paint them if you wanted to. So you could do anything like that. And then you could just emboss all of your backgrounds, stamp out a bunch of your sentiments, and it would be perfect. So I think that's what I really love about these cards. So I decided to add a third one up here, and I'm just going to kind of have it hanging off the page, and then I'll trim that off in a minute. That way it looks nice. You have that visual effect. And I did think about spritzing some Lindy's on the back. I didn't end up doing that, but I think that would be a really nice look as well. So here I'm just going to press this down. For a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim off those edges, and I already have a pre-cut card base, so I'll just layer this on there after that. And I just tape down my sentiment, which I love. I love these Avery sentiments. This set is so awesome because it has so many for so many different holidays, which is just perfect. And you could even save those little bits and have more peeking out off the corners or edges if you wanted to. So here I'm just going to lay this down, and I'm just going to use my ATG gun. And it took me a second to find it. Honestly, my desk is a mess right now. So I'm just going to tape this down right there, and that is the finished front of your card. You could also add some sequins if you wanted to. There is so much stuff you could do, but I love die cutting these delicate dies out of chipboard just because it just makes them so much easier to work with. I know I have a lot of the thanks and happy and word dies that are super thin and delicate dies, but I plan on trying this technique with those because they are so much easier to work with, and all you have to do is kind of change the color unless you're doing kind of a craft theme. So this is it, and I will put the picture of the finished card here at the end. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.